In this example, we're going to cover a slightly more advanced exploitation of an OAuth vulnerability. It's slightly more advanced because we have to communicate with a user or social engineer a user to exploit it properly. So we're basically exploiting a CSRF vulnerability through the initial OAuth vulnerability. So the OAuth vulnerability is resulting into a CSRF vulnerability. Now I covered CSRF vulnerabilities, but just a quick recap. CSRF happens when the requests are not validated by the server side. So when the server gets a request, it doesn't validate whether the user actually created the request or if it was created by someone else and the user is just executing that request. So a possible exploitation of this, the hacker would forge a specific request that is useful to them, for example, changing the user's password to a password they know, and then social engineer the user to submit that request. So it could be a URL or a HTML page. If the user submits that request to the target website will not verify that the user actually created this request. Therefore, it'll execute it, but it's going to execute it as if this user submitted it. Therefore, the hacker knows what this request is because they created it, and therefore managing to either change the password of the user or get them to submit something that is useful to them. Now, in this example with OAuth, if the target website does not verify the origin of the requests, then a hacker could log into their account using the normal login feature, not using the social login feature, and then analyze how the website links normal accounts, normal logins to the social accounts, and then use this knowledge to forge a request that would link an account to a social media account. Then send that forged request to the user and social engineer the user to submit that request to the website. So effectively, the user is going to be asking the website to link this account with the hacker's social media account. Therefore, as a result, the hacker is going to log in with their social media account, but they'll end up logging in as the user because the hacker's social media account is linked to the user account now, because the user was the one that submitted the linking request. You'll have a better understanding of all of this once we apply this in practice in the lab. So let's have a look at it here and have a quick read over the description. First of all, let's see what's given us. So it's given us the blog website account, which is Wiener Peter, and the social media profile is this. So I'm simply going to put that in my notes and let's access the lab. As you can see, this is just another blog similar to the one we had before. You could view posts if you want to view the posts. For example, when you click in here, you can see that you get a post ID. You should test that, but this is not what we're talking about today. So let's go to my account. And as you can see, you can log in with a normal username and password, or you can log in with social media. So this is a more realistic example because usually you are given the option to log in with normal username and password that is stored on the blog website with a normal account, or you can log in with a social media account with data that you're given to a different website or to a different provider. So we have the information in here for the username and the password. It's still the same, Wiener Peter. Let's just log in normally. And again, you can see you get normal account, you get your email, and also gives you an option to attach a social profile. So we can just click on it now and then come back and clear the HTTP history and look at it again. I just don't want to do it in 2 steps. You should do it in 2 steps in real examples just to see how it works. But we've already done it before. So I'm going to clear the history. And we're simply going to click on attach a social profile. So now it's asking us to log in again. But again, assume that you've been redirected to Google now and you're being asked to log into your Google, so your Google account gets attached to this website. So we are given the information here. So it's peter.wiener, the username, and the password is hotdog. And again, obviously we got more requests in here. Now, Facebook or whatever website you have is telling you that this blog is going to try to access your profile and your email. And we're going to say that's fine. I'm okay with this. And cool. Now, as you can see on the blog website, we're being told you have successfully linked your social media account. So clicking on continue, bring us back home. But now our social media account is linked and is attached to this current account. So far we haven't really done any hacking. We've just been using this website, using its features, and we can basically just come in here and analyze all of the requests that were sent in order to attach our social media account to this website. Again, as usual, at the start, as you can see, we have a client ID that is being sent with a link. Going down, we can see some requests for interactions, not really very useful. Let's click on the auth and see what's happening in here. So it's asking for an authentication. If we go back here, we have something called another authentication request to the same user. And next we have another, this time it's called OAuth-linking. So again, this is very, very interesting because what we're looking for is the OAuth. And this time you could see that it has a certain code in here or a certain token. Now, if we look at the auth in here and look at the response of it, you could see if you look at the token given in this response, it ends with GP5. And if we look at the auth in here, you will see that this is being sent as a request. So just to make this simple, we made a request to /auth to try to authenticate a specific user. The server came back with this token, with a specific token, with a specific code. This is the server of the social media network. So for example, Google. And then we use this token in order to authenticate ourselves with the blog. So we can see the token is being sent in here again in the request. So we got the token in the response of the previous request, and then we sent it as part of the request. And when we send this to the blog is going to say, okay, yeah, I know this guy, and I'm going to associate them with this account. So if we get somebody such as the admin, if we send them this request and they submit it themselves, if the request is accepted by the server, then this might actually logs us in as admin. Because we don't see a state being sent in the request, that means that this is possibly vulnerable to CSRF. So that would be another value that you would see that is being sent in here to associate the current request with the current user, so that if I send this to somebody else, the request will fail because they will get a different ID or a different token. It's actually called state in OAuth. And that is used to prevent CSRF, to prevent us from doing something like this. So what we need to do is we simply need to right click this and copy its URL. And then we need to put it in a page and send this page to the admin. And we don't know. It could work, it could not work. Usually in these kind of cases, you should create another account and run the file or run the URL from that other account and see if it logs you into the first account. So let me show you. We're simply going to create a very simple HTML page, and we're going to have an iframe. The SRC is going to be the link that I just copied. This is the source. And we're simply going to close the iframe, and we're good to go. So the idea here is you create an account, first of all, to forge this request, because you can't really know what kind of requests you can make. So we're going to create an account, we're going to create the request that we want, you'll put it in a HTML page, and then you create another account and run this HTML page from this other account. And if it works, that means you have a CSRF. It's as simple as that, because you managed to get another person to send a request that they do not want to send themselves. You kind of force them to send that request. Now, in our case, we can't really send this to an admin account because we don't have an admin account. So what they've done with this lab, so this is something that you only have to do in this lab. It might look confusing, but you're not going to do it in real life. Because we can't send this to another person, and this vulnerability requires to have a person, what they did is they made an exploit server. So let me open this in a new tab. And basically, this is just a server where you can put your code in it, and you can click on deliver exploit to victim. So you can see from the name, it's self-explanatory. It's going to mimic as if an admin victim clicked your code or clicked your exploit. Now, before exploiting this, we need to generate a new token to use in our exploit code, because the token that's already there has already been used and therefore expired. So this current request that we have is not really very good because it's already been used and it's expired. So we actually need a fresh new code that is not used. So we're gonna turn on the interceptor and we're simply gonna click on attach a social profile. When we do this, we're gonna get a brand new code that we can use to send to our victim, to our target. So forward, this is the OAuth linking. As you can see, we got a new ID now. We're gonna copy it and we're gonna go back to our text file. And just to show you how this is different now, see how this code in here ends with GP5. Right now we have a completely different code, and this one is not used. This one is used, it's expired, so we can't use it, so we're gonna remove it and we're gonna use this one. And this is pretty much our code. We're gonna copy the iframe. And the thing is now, if I forward this request, it will be received by the server and therefore it'll expire again. The code that we just got that we're so happy with will expire again. So what we need to do is we actually need to drop that packet. As you can see, it's gone, it's dropped. And now we're simply gonna go back. We're gonna turn off the interceptor. We're gonna log out because we're hopefully gonna log in with our target account once we exploit this properly. And let's go in here and let's paste our code. We're gonna deliver the exploit to the victim. And let's go back, click on my account and click on login with social media. And perfect. Now, if you look, I am logged in as admin. So initially I was not logged in as admin, but now I'm logged in as admin. So we can click on continue and we have our admin page in here. So I can click on admin page and I can actually go ahead and delete users now because I have admin privileges.